Um, I want to welcome you all to this session of Wikipedia, where we have a very important person here to speak to us. And let me take a quick moment and introduce Dr. Jonah Olusegun, knowing that his profile is already on the flyer, but I intend to say to us that he is a very dear friend of mine. I had known him before I came to the US. And I was very, 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 very impressed with his life and his academic, intellectual achievements. And when I got to the US, I met him. He was very helpful in my coming over, actually, very, very helpful in many, many ways. Was going errands for me, helped me even resource-wise. And then when I came to the US, I was very amazed at the quality of person that he is, a good Christian, functional family person, which is important. As young people, we need to learn from people who value their families, value their wives, people who value their children and are sacrificing to build their homes. It's a very rare thing today. He has a very successful wife who is also a doctor, and both of them are very, very invested in academics. Their children also, they have 2 boys. Dr. Jonah has worked with Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He has worked with NASA, which is the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. And very recently, Stanford University gave him an offer sometime last year, if I remember correctly. And these are very excellent institutions in America that you just cannot find your way there easily. But his commitment to excellence has opened the doors to these places, and that's what we want to learn from by requesting him to be here, and graciously he offered to be here. So join me to welcome this very prominent Nigerian who is making headways and a great blessing to the American science and technology sphere. Let's welcome Dr. Jonah Olusegun. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pastor Kingsley. I am very, very honored to be here. I'm not sure if I qualify to be here to speak with our people. And you have been amazing. So I think I appreciate your efforts in building the youth and encouraging them, mentoring them. No, it's not everybody that can do that. I usually tell my wife that, why does Pastor Kingsley get all these efforts from he has to go to work, and he still has the effort to gather people to talk to them? It's very fantastic, and this cannot be appreciated enough. So today I am here to talk about so many things, about things that could help us if we are somebody that is looking for headway into postgraduate or graduate courses in the US or other countries. And first of all, can we show a kind of show of hand? There is a kind of sticker here that we can use to show if you are looking for admission into higher institution in the US or other countries, or you're already doing something in the US. Okay. Okay. But all of us are postgraduate students. We have finished our BSc, right?
Yes, the most, except for as far as I know, except for Melvin, the most persons here are at graduate level of education. They're done with college education.
Oh, okay, good. So we are mostly the audience I really want today. So because we will be looking at, let me share my screen to just introduce some of what we'll be talking about today.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, maybe no way. Okay, good. So I asked Pastor Christy what we should be talking about today, and he told me that we want to we should be looking at what people are facing, the challenges Nigerians or other Africans are facing, like going through public university and support for international awards, like getting into university abroad. We should also be talking about opportunities in terms of scholarship and grants, like fellowships that you may need to take advantage and make headways. So those are the we'll be looking at. But like I said, we need to talk about, like I have asked some questions about whether you are a master's student or PhD student. So I think one of us here are looking for opportunities to do our master's or PhD. Everybody has already done with college. Yeah. So which is, so today, before I show us the way we can go about this, which is the purpose of this meeting, is there are some things that are not noticeable that also affect our performance in day-to-day activities that I want to call our attention on to. So like whatever you find yourself doing, do it well, because everything depends on that. I'm sorry. So like if you are doing something right now and you think that thing is not important, you should think again, because that could be the thing that will take you to the next level. So don't take anything for granted that you have in your hand right now, whether you are studying or doing some hard work. So try to make sure that you do it successfully, and we do it with all your might, so that at some point in time, you may need to build on that. So, and then another thing is that don't be scared to make mistakes. The only person that doesn't make mistake is those that doesn't even do anything. So if you are doing something, you are bound to make mistakes. So mistakes are part of success. So a mistake is success in progress. So when you make mistake, you learn from that mistakes and you move ahead. But if you don't try that thing, you may not even know how to do it. So another one is, don't always rob yourself of your peace of mind. The way to understand and see things will make you happy or unhappy. That means that it's the way you classify things in your mind will make you a happy man or a sad man, and that will affect your performance. Like I said here, like it's a person wants 1,000 things because he's able, he's healthy, but a sick man wants only one thing. He needs to get well. That is what he wants. If you are sick and you're on the bed, you don't think about any other thing. You think about just one thing. So everything that you do, whether you are in the country, in Nigeria, that is not performing well, or you're in the US, just be happy in that space of yours. Try to be happy with whatever you are doing. That is all these things that we are talking about in this initial stage. You may look as if on to excel, to be able to perform well in other areas. Can you give me a second? Let me caution these children, they are making noise here.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay, sir.
I'm so sorry about that. So, like I was saying, and this is a quadrant slide I try to bring our attention to things that are going on around us on day-to-day activities. And here I said, don't quarrel with people for too long. It's possible you have a quarrel and a disagreement, but don't let it get too long. You need to move forward, because the more you try to dwell on that, the other person might not even know that you are quarreling with him, but you are wasting your time in trying to get something that the other person is not even getting attention of. So try not to quarrel with people for too long. And if you have any quarrel, try to call their attention to it and move on, because it takes energy to do all those things, and those energy can be put into other things. So this is some of the one of the main things that we want to discuss today on how to get into the university of your dreams, and try to take step by step to explain this, because they are important. There are periods which you need to try them. There are periods which you need to start doing some aspect of it, and the section are already in place. So I have put this together in order for us to understand the process from the beginning to the end. So here is the timeline that I've put for us. So before anything at all, before application and things like that, you may want to try to complete your MS. That is if you are doing going for PhD, you need to complete your MS, of course, or your your thesis, all those things. But if you are going for your master, you only need your thesis, your dissertation for your college or university, as case may be. So, and publication is also important. Publication is key. One of the key things that you need to look at. Taking TOEFL, like English exams, and taking Greek GRE is not that important these days because it's optional. But if you want to have a head up, you need to. Some people may say it is recommended, but at times it may boost your chance of because there are so many competitions. And when you have a very good score in GRE, that may boost your chance. So this is what you do before December 23rd. For example, if you are looking at taking this 2024, August-September 2024 section, you may need to start around this period, making sure that all these things are from the beginning here to the taking of GRE. You may want to make sure that everything is in place. And the next thing is to collect your transcript, manage the letter of recommendations, because your application is very important. You need to take time to apply. So application, I will show you in the consequence slide. They are primary to what the college will decide on. And searching university online, which we will also do in one of the slides. I have prepared a slide that we will try to see, for example, how to search university. That will take from January to December, which means September 2023 for this next academic year. And so another thing that is important that we're going to be discussing about is the managing professor email. So this place is a very crucial place that people fail a lot, because in order to get sponsorship, you need a professor with a project or something that is having a work in his hand, that is interested in your ability or your CV. So your communication with such person is very crucial. And Yeah, that is done also during this January to September. And in December and January, you may want to select a university that you want to apply. You want to send your application to the university, or together with the statement of purpose that is part of the application. And in January, March 2024, January to March 2024, you want to look at getting a full tuition waiver. That is, with all this in place, you have a very high chance of getting all of this during this period of time. And what you do next is just schedule an interview. Sometimes some schools have asked for interview, and then you can go to the Institute of Interest. So those are the steps that we need to take, and I have tried to detail them here. Like 20 years process, 20-month process. Where would we start from? That is where we have here all of these applications that we need to do. These three things, like I said here, the GRE, if you have 7 points is sufficient. It's a good mark. I think most universities accept 7 points, but if you have above that, it's good. So collecting information from the university, making a list, and making contacts. Making contact is one of the important things that you need to focus on. And I think I have a way to show us. I have, let me see. So this is part of it. How to show us how this works. So we need to put, let me see, the name of the university and the department. Like we want to apply for Department of Physics. We put Department of Physics. Department of Physics. Maybe let's say, for example, MIT. So what pops up to you is all of these websites. So you just go to the faculty. When you go to the faculty, you see all these people, professors. Try to look for the ones that have your interest. Maybe you have been working on something, and those things are related to what the professor is doing. That is, then you can go to his, maybe for example, this man here is doing something that interests you. You can get his email address, try to, so he also have a video that can help you. Try to get some of his detail. And the next thing is to write, this is some of this. Here you have the similar that you have his phone contact. You don't need to call him. Just because you don't really know him, you need to actually send him email. And sending email is not like putting all these informations. You don't need to put all the information that are not necessary. Like, I like this, I like that, I would like those 3 words should come in repeatedly. Like, try to learn what the professor has been doing, maybe to get his paper, understand what he's doing in his work. And when you write him, you need to tell him how you got his contacts. So, and make your email very short. So just maybe for the first time you are writing, maybe 1 or 2 lines or 3 lines are okay. You don't even need up to very large paragraphs. And just introduce yourself, how you got to meet him, maybe from one of his work you got from the internet, his paper, you have listened to his talk before in 1 or 2 places. So, and make sure that you don't go too much. And then what you do next is attach your CV to that email. So, like, your CV must be, let me see, where is that? So permanent offices, look for the faculty page, look at the professor profiles, correlate the interest with your interest, and get better information about professor on Google Scholar. That is another thing you want to do. And send emails to, for similar interests. So those are the things that you need to follow. And your CV is also very key and very important. So getting your CV prepared, before you prepare your CV, you need to have essential things like publications. If you don't have publications and you want to go for master's or PhD, particularly for PhD, it may be a little bit problematic. So what I want you to know today is that it's not your CGP that is essential here. So your CGP is one thing, like I put here, CGP 1.1, 2.1, 2.2. Even I have seen top class having admission with scholarships. So your CGP is one thing, but it's not the almighty things. But what is important is your CV, how you are able to build your CV and your statement of purpose, your research interests. So when you look for those professors, you want to catch their interest by, their attention by showing your skills. And that is in your CV. You don't even need to talk too much in the email because people don't have time to read emails. That is why I asked you to put 1 or 2 lines of emails, or 3 at most. Just, I like this about you, I like that. And then I would, just introduce yourself to like that, and you go from there. So CV, put it in mind, is very key. Your statement of purpose is going to be like for somebody that has a 2.2 score in CGP, needs other things to be perfect. So statement of purpose, publications, well-tailored CV. And nowadays, like I said, you don't need GRE, because during the COVID, they stop doing that. And it's even, but if you have 2.1, for example, you may want to put all those things in place. That will be a boost even over someone that has 2.2 or first class. So try to put that in mind. And I have put also some of the interesting universities that accept students for scholarships, and that some of my friends are currently in these universities. In fact, I contacted somebody that came here recently. I told him I will be talking to young people today about admission into university, and he sent me this set of emails that he tried during his own time, and other ones that are available. So some people try one university to send emails to 1 or 2 professors and stop there. Maybe sometimes they receive disappointing emails back, and then they feel dejected, and they stop trying. You don't have to stop trying. In my time, I had to send like 50 emails to professors before I could get 2 replies from the 50 emails that I sent. My friend once told me that he sent 100 emails to professors. And we had, at that time, we were doing our postdoc together at MIT. And we were talking about the stories that brought us to the United States at that time. And I was so surprised that he even had to go to 100 emails before he could get 5 people to reply, and got one of the university he wanted at that time. So don't stop at 1 or 2 emails. Just keep sending as much as possible. What you need to do is that make sure that you are attractive, like a beautiful lady that wants to attract a man. a man, he needs to be, well dressed, all those things that he needs to do. But you need to make sure that in this case, your CV, like I said, I cannot emphasize more on that. And all the statement of purpose, some people even, some other institute, they require more than the statement of purpose. They require personal statement, they require essay of leadership. But there are some institutes, most of them only requested you to provide statement of purpose. So try to make sure that you lay out your goals, your motivation in that particular, because it's essential. That is what they will grab to read. And don't be too lengthy about what you are doing. Just be brief and make sure that everything is brief, because there is no, people just want to catch one keywords that get your attention to read your work. So try not to be lengthy on writing. So I advise us to try all of this. For example, if you want to make application, let's take for example Boston College, and let me try one of these websites for us, because these are the things that draw people behind, and because they don't know where to go. And now I'm going to provide this PowerPoint to us, and if you can follow the step-by-step or all of these things that are written in the PowerPoint, you have a headway on doing all these things. So this is an easy way to do your application. For Boston College, for example, you see all of these requirements they have. When you click on the application form, you see those things that you need to see, and then you click on and apply. The fee, maybe $75 is what they charge, and some of them may not even charge you. If you can even apply for waiver, they can waive that fee for you if you have sound reason for doing that. And your transcript, transcript is another thing that you want to make sure you get prepared before the timeline, because sometimes it's hold up. Some university does not really request that this transcript should come from your school. But after you have been granted the admission, they may request that. And recommendation letter is another thing that recommendation letter will always be from your advisor, not from any other person or maybe not from close friend, but associate at work or at school that you have you graduated from. Now, statement of purpose, we have discussed that a lot in today's talk, and standardized tests, writing sample. And so most of these things depends on the schools. So these are, for example, the subjects that for example, you're looking at physics. So you have different requirements for different subjects here. Mathematics may even have different requirements. But let's look at the physics one that is mostly what most of us that are here are into. This is GRE recommended, but not requested. GRE subject test recommended. So what you want to do is everything that is recommended, just make sure you have them. That will give a headway to me compared to other people that are also writing or contesting or applying for the same scholarship. So scholarship is what is key here. If you are just coming for study, you may not need all of these things that much, because nobody is going to be worried about paying for you. But if they are paying for you, that means they see something in you that is essential, and that is what they are paying for. So this is a free money that you have worked for in the past by all your efforts on your publications and CVs and things like that. So yeah, so that is that. And you see, they are very, very different from one university. This is just for Boston College, and you may see some other requirements for other institutes, but they don't really change much. Yeah, so yeah, so this is another form of immigration that people apply to. I'm not going to be talking about this a lot, but this website that I put here is very important. If you want to apply for Canada immigration, for example, these are the steps you need to take. Some of them are similar to the US, but there are some that are very strict. Like, for example, English language test is very strict with Canada immigration. And they work with a lot of age. There are a lot of other parameters that are important here that are not important for the US immigration. And yeah, so I also put some points for the Brazilian immigration to study. This is where I did my master's and PhD. At that time, it was in 2011 at that time. I left Nigeria and I had to go to Brazil for my master's because I got a scholarship. I wrote an exam at the Nigerian embassy and I got a scholarship to study my master's at that time. But there was a problem for me at that time. I couldn't speak Portuguese, and I had to take classes in Portuguese because Brazil speaks Portuguese. So you may want to consider that because but for now, I think they are coming up with English classes. At least in my institute, my former institute that I graduated from, they have updated their curriculum and they are now teaching in English. So you may want to consider that as well when you decide, because if you don't want to do GRE or you don't want to do TOEFL or all those exams that are compulsory in some university in the US, you have other options like the Brazilian schools, higher institutions here. We should just have to write exam at the embassy. So if you are interested in this, I can help you further with this. These are the names of their scholarship. They have the FAPESP, which is very interesting. It's a very big scholarship. It's bigger than the CMPQ. The CMPQ is also okay for any student, foreign students to manage with. This is what I used when I was admitted in at that time. I used CMPQ, but the FAPESP is is for rich guys. And when you get FAPESP, you have you live a very comfortable life doing your master's or PhD. So everything here that we are talking about, everything is based on discipline. Like, you have to discipline yourself to try many options as much as you can to get. So when you try many options, you may have 2 or 3 outcomes that are positive, and then you can negotiate. For example, if you have you apply to several institutes and you get 2 scholarships at different institutes, and one scholarship is less than the other scholarship, and one institute is of your interest than the other institute. So what you do is, the institute of your interest, you can send them email and discuss, like negotiate with them that you already have a scholarship from another institute, but you are considering their institute because it has your interest or some of what you want to do mostly. So sometimes they may accept to help you with improving that, or so just try to exploit that area as well. So nothing stop you from applying as many institutes as possible that you may want to apply. And yeah, so is there any question so far that, I mean, I've just been talking, but I said this would be an interactive section, but I've just been talking. Do we have questions? Please feel free to ask me questions. I'm sure that you may want to ask 1 or 2 questions here at this point, because it's something that if you are trying to get these things and you don't have all these things clear in your mind, all these steps, for example, this part of these steps here, if you are doing this part around this part, you may be late for some things. That means you have to wait for another year. So that is why I've included this time frame that is essential for you to go by. And yeah, so let me know if there is any question in the board or.
Let me ask a question if nobody else is raising one. Thank you very much. I must say to you that the presentation is.
Yeah, I think they are raising their hands.
Okay.
Sorry.
If somebody has a question, please go ahead.
All right. Good evening, sir. This is Sylvester speaking.
Hello, Mr. Sylvester. Yeah.
Yes, sir. We really appreciate your time, and so far it's been interesting. One of my questions is from the time frame you've given. So for someone applying, let's say August, September 2024, and hasn't written or taken TOEFL or IELTS, so it means that August, September 2024 won't be feasible.
Yeah, because the academic section starts around that time. So you may be looking at the next year. It always goes. So you are back here in this domain in 2023, but you are in 2024. Don't worry. Just keep doing what you are doing. But know that this period of time, 2025, is when you will get your admission. When you get admitted, you will be at the. So when you miss this period of time, you have the same period of time for the next year to do all those applications that you are doing. But know in your mind that your admission or your schooling will start in the next year, not the same year anymore. That is why you have to be careful with this. So if we are still in, let me see, April now. So you are around this place, June to December 2023. And if you have not gotten all of this, at least you must have got the thesis, maybe MS, or you have gotten the your PhD thesis for your postdoc or whatever you want to do. So that is our BSc. So in that case, you are still okay to do this process for if you are in already in April. What you need to do is just write your GRE and your TOEFL. So your population is what you work on every day. If you are a BSc holder, that is college, university graduate, you are fine. Just keep working on your research. And one thing I forgot to mention is your research interests. If you have a research interest, it's the key. Even though you don't have any of these things, forget about it. If you don't, I know you must have this. This number one here is important. But your research interest is key to the professor. If the professor sees that you have a very nice work in your CV, and that work is in line with his work, he will go an extra mile to get you to his team. That is what happened to my friend that is in Virginia Tech right now. He has applied all his life, but somebody just found his CV and he saw his work, that is the professor's work is very much close to what he's doing. And the professor just went all the way. He paid for his application fee, paid for every damn thing that he needs to pay for without even looking. He has done the GRE many times without, getting 7-point score. And he said, no, I will admit it without this GRE, you don't need it. So these things here, 1 to 4, is really, really not, it depends on how you handle it. If you have your publication, very strong publication and research experience, that is what researchers are looking for. And another thing is you may even have an opportunity to become a TA, that is teaching assistant. And with that, you are funded already. If you are a TA doing your teaching assistant, then
now, let me lend my voice to that. Having a research interest, the importance of it for a PhD application is so much.
Yes.
A PhD applicant should be very clear about what they're applying for. There must be no ambivalences about it. And publication gives an advantage, but clarity on what you want to do your research on, which makes it easy for you to identify a professor who could take you up or take you in, is what I think is a profound need if you are putting up application for PhD.
Yeah, that is the statement of purpose. Yeah.
Yes, it's reflected there. And Doctor, we got a young guy on our group who, like your friend, who found a professor that was interested in what he has been using on his mind in terms of area of interest. And the person, the woman, saw some of the work that this young man had done, and the guy was admitted to University in Florida. He's going, and the package is so beautiful, the neighborhood of $56,000 a year. Aside his tuition, he's paid at bi-weekly, and health insurance, everything covered. He's on the Paideia group. Now, we worked together last year on that application. What sold him was that he was very clear about what he wanted. He is into biological science. Biochemistry rather. So he began to have interest in researching on oil, palm oil, and some other nuances to it that got the attention of the professor. So indeed, that's important.
Yeah, that is extremely important. We cannot emphasize that enough. It's really, really important. So Nora is raising her hand. I think she has been waiting.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
I just wanted to ask, like myself, I want to apply to MIT, the Department of EECS. Now, they said they don't take direct masters. You only have to apply through PhD.
Exactly.
Yes. And, like our universities here, I did my B engineering in computer engineering, and I don't really have any research background, or I don't have publications apart from my final year project. So I don't know what we can, is there maybe a suggestion of things we can do to maybe pimp up our CV a bit, since we don't have research and all those other things? I even tried to look for a research institute, because Reverend Kingsley told me to maybe look for maybe a technological research institute around my environment and visit them. I couldn't find any around Jos and the environments, the whole of North Central, there was none.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. It's excellent question, because nowadays, universities, they want PhD directly, because most of what you are doing in the PhD is making research. Although you may first of all go through 1 year of academic tuition, classes. You have classes throughout maybe 1 year or 1.5 years before you start your research, just to make sure that you know the basis of what you want to research in. But what you can do if you don't have the research experience that are required is try to look for another way in which you can cover up, like doing some certificate courses, data analysis, those things are online right now. Although they are a little bit, for Nigerians, they may be a little bit expensive, but if you can try to do, there are some that are free, maybe on LinkedIn or other platform or social media that we have. There are some of them that are free that still offer the certificate. You can cover up in that area. And also, it's not important that if you don't really have, it is important, right? I cannot overemphasize that is important, but if you don't really have and you want to still move forward, you can have the idea. The idea is also important. If the professor that is into that, for example, you go to the website like we did in this meeting, you check the profile of the professor and you saw the research interest of that professor. You can write a proposal, you can write a project that is in line with that profile or with the interest of that professor. Include that in your CV or in the statement of purpose. If that idea is strong, he will not be looking at the publication that you have, because he knows that you have the skills. So the skills is what they need. So that is why sometimes the GRE is not essential and the TOEFL is not essential. They overlook those things. If you have that skills that they need, they will just go for you straight away. So those are the two things that I think of now, but there may be some other things that you can use to go around that limitation that you have with history of publication to get the same thing done.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Like the field I was interested in is cybersecurity. I went to their site. I went through the list of the professors, all that are related to networking, cybersecurity, and computer security, and the rest. Some said they were open to take students. Right now, I'm doing several courses, certifications. I have some exams coming up by December for certification exams under cybersecurity. So probably I'll just look
those
into
are the things you should do. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I'll look into the project you talked about and see what I can do too.
Yeah, please. Those will give a very head start to, it will give you ahead of other people. For sure, I'm very sure of this. Those are the things they need. Yeah, they will look at those things in your CV, tailor your CV. Don't tell too much story in your CV. Make it a resume. No, but make sure that those things that you talk about are very important. I can even send you one thing that I used for my CV at that time. Let me tell you one thing that I worked for MIT and I worked for NASA, but at that time I was doing contract job, and I need to, after 2 years, my contract job will be over, and I was looking for another job. What did I do? I have my PhD. I didn't relax because I didn't really say, okay, I have my PhD and then I will look for a job and then I will get a job. I was also doing some certificate program underneath, which helped me a lot. By the time I started applying for another position, I got invited by Google, by Amazon, by several people people told me that they are before they could call you, you must have applied. I applied once and they called me, and they called me for interview, and I did at time. For industry work, it was very wide open for me, but I was looking at more something that will improve my career, not just the money. If I had to go for the money, maybe I'll be in the industry right now because of the certificate program that I did at that time during my postdocs and programming at NASA. So it opened this is the point. One-way traffic is not good. Don't say I have 2-1, I have first class. I have a friend now in Brazil. He has third class, and he's doing his PhD. He finished his PhD last year. Nobody thought he would be able to go anywhere with his third class. That is Nigeria. You cannot go anywhere with your clock. But when you have all these things that we have talked today in your cardboard, you will go everywhere that the first class will go. That would be a foregone something.
This is very encouraging, Doctor. Thank you so much for beginning that angle.
Exactly. I think we have more questions, Fred. Any other questions for us? Please feel free to ask questions. We have little time. I think, Pastor Kisley, I think we have more 5 minutes, right?
Yes, and we can, if we have to, we can go up to 50 minutes past.
Oh, great. So this is a room for discussion. I came here purposely for us. When Pastor Kisley invited me to give a talk, I was reluctant, and then I thought about it. I said, if just one person benefits from my talk, I'll be fine. So please make your questions and try all these things that we talk about today. Just try it. I have made it very easy with this PowerPoint, and I will send it to Pastor Kisley, and he will distribute it to us. So I put here 5 simple rules that we need to follow in our activities, because some of these things, like I said in the beginning of this talk, it's not about our brilliancy or our smartness. Sometimes it's about what we have, the day-to-day our way of life that take us to the top. Yes, it is. Yeah, that is just how it is. Some people don't understand this, but it's really simple. You don't have to be too smart, like having all the power, be the best class in the school or in your set before you can make it. I have tried that a lot, and it helps. Being good only, we can raise it to the top. Like what is seen for the quadrant slide that we demonstrated today. All those things that we talked about in the 4 quadrant slide, it's essential for getting to the top. So I said learning how to handle failure. So one of the things that people try to go down, bring people down, is their failure. The most successful people in life today, they have failed and failed over and over and over again, but they keep trying. So don't stop trying when you fail. I was mentoring a lady from the group. There is a group, journal group that we have, and they asked us to put our CVs and things like that, and people will locate us for mentorship. And this lady contacted me for mentorship, and she was very devastated, and she said she's not going to continue anymore. And she said she has failed too much, like she this and that, and I think she was being bullied at school as well. So I was like, that is the last thing you should do. Just keep trying. And she couldn't understand my point. She went without listening. Although I'm still contacting her and trying to send some clips to her to listen to it. And I hope one day she will call me back that she's trying again, because she was totally devastated and she said she's not going to try anymore. So don't let your failure affect your moving forward. Just keep trying. You tried the applications on several occasions, it doesn't work. Go back to your CV, adjust it. That's what people do. Adjust it to suit what that professor is doing. Try to rearrange most of the things. If you need help, contact Pastor Kisley is here. If you need help, you can contact me. I'm also on the WhatsApp in that program. And also, I also want to offer, if you don't have payment for your application, I can pay. If you get to that stage and you don't have the payment, just looking for the payment for that application, every other thing is intact. your TOEFL, your everything is good to go, and your payment will be the one that will hinder you for your progress, contact us. I will offer to Pastor Kingsley that I will pay those kind of fee. So believe in yourself. You are born to unique. So people think that many people are like me or something, but no, you are just you. Nobody is like you. Nobody in this life is like you. Always follow your dreams. That's very important. Although when you have dreams, you need to back it up. You don't just sit down and say, oh, I have a dream. I will become somebody. I will become this, I will become that. But you are not following it up. Try to follow up your dream. That is essential. That is, this follow your dream is what it means. Follow up your dream. Put action into it. Knowledge makes you the best, so keep learning. So never stop learning. Like I said, if you put some application forward and it's not working, try to see. Some people will even tell you why they didn't have accept you for that. Try to improve on that and still keep trying. I have tried many times in my life before I get into any of this. For example, when I was looking for my master's in like 10 years ago or so, I tried several opportunities, and when Brazil showed up, I had to go. Even though I don't understand the language, it was very stressful at that time because of the language. So just keep trying. So, and break the limitation of your mind. That is the bottom line that we are talking about. There are some limitations that limits you. Just make sure you break it down, and don't compare yourself with others. If you want to compare yourself, make sure you do it in a very wise way, because some people compare themselves with people above them, and as a result of that, they become depressed. Don't do that. If you are in that situation, look backward. Look at somebody that is beneath you. That is when you have the impetus or the momentum to move forward. Try to balance things. You can compare yourself to people ahead of you, but make sure you are doing it wisely so that it motivates you. But if it's not motivating you, you just don't have to be depressed. Go back to the people that are beneath you and see that you are already in a position that is already better than somebody else. So like I said here, small minds discuss other people. That's what most people do. You see people discussing other people, but great minds, good minds, they discuss events, they discuss ideas. So an ideas is what we sell you. When you have ideas, if you don't have 2-1, you don't have if you don't have first class, you get your admission. Ideas these days are essential. You can sell yourself through your our ideas. So that is, I think our time is a little bit spent. Please ask your questions if you still have questions, please. I think that's where I will stop today. And please, if you have more questions, feel free to ask questions. This is the time. Yeah. Sylvester?
All right, sir. We really appreciate this time and the effort you've put into this. My question seemed to be in line with that of Nora earlier. Okay, for me, my undergraduate project was not in an area of which I was really interested in, but because we're paired with some lecturers from a particular field. I studied mechanical engineering, so I had to just go with a project that is in line with the lecturer's field. But now my interest is something else. So how do I do that now? And I know that when applying, a lot of people want to see, okay, what is your undergraduate project? So how would I be able to navigate that now, since my interest now is something else and not what I did in my undergraduate project?
That's a good question. So what you did in your undergraduate project, what are you doing now? Hello, Sylvester? Hello?
All right. Hello. Yes, sir.
Okay.
My interest was actually, or is actually, in manufacturing, but I did a project in energy. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I am not that familiar with that area, but what you need to do is, the consistency is essential to get something to show that you are good in a field. The interest that you don't have in the energy aspect of it, and you have interest in the manufacturing aspect of it now, it's good that you have interest, but it takes more effort for you to build on that. Like I was, if you remember the story I told you about having opportunity to get into Amazon and IBM, but because I already have foundation in my field, I could not go for those offers. I had to go, even though the money, the payment, my salary is far more than what I will receive in my field. I had to go for my field. So I'm not going to discourage you about looking for another way around for your interest, but you need to do extra work in order to get to that point, to attract investors, like to attract professors. You need to do, because if you have some materials for your undergrad, you have some material that you already have, it is far easier for you to convince them. The other thing that you could have is the idea. If you have an excellent idea in the manufacturing aspect, then you could go for it. If you have a strong idea that could bring something on the table, you could go for it, because that will sell you.
Okay, sir.
If you have idea plus what you already have in the energy aspect, then that will sell you more. So you can try both ways. Don't just forgo the area which you have. Try both ways. That's what I will say at the long run. Try both ways. Try the energy, try the manufacturing with strong ideas. And
all right,
if
sir.
anything
Thank
comes,
you.
then you compare and then choose.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Right. You're welcome. I think we have a question from Samani.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Jonah, for the presentation, and thank you to Pastor Kingsley, for setting this platform for us to learn. I'm actually in a training level mining engineering program, which will last for a period of 5 years. Concerning the application process, based on your presentations, someone made mention that it will last a period of 20 months. I want to ask, should I wait till I graduate before I start the application, or should I just start the application while I'm still in school?
So you are still excuse me. So you are still an undergrad?
Yes, training level, precisely, on a 5-year program.
So we have something here. So I think if you have all of this ready, the first 4 panels here, 4 lines here, and you can wait till the final year before you send your application. if you
Okay,
already
sir.
have this. But if you don't have this, try to work on this and work on your CV, work on your statement of purpose, develop ideas. There are a lot of things to do for 20 months. You think it's so long period, but it's not. Even reading the professor's profiles, reading his paper to understand, the application is the simplest part, because of the assignments you must have done before you get to application level. Application is just going online and putting all those things. But all the primary work that you have done, that will take a very long time before you can arrive at maybe applying those things. Writing your statement of purpose, tailoring your CV in a professional way that will interest, or all those things are very, very essential as well. So you have a long time, it seems right now, but you may not have that time. By the time you are ready to apply, you see that there is no time at all. Then you are in very good position, I must tell you. But try to put all those things in good shape as
Thank
much
you.
as you can. Yeah.
No, thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, sure. Do we have any other questions? Yeah, please remember to ask for help. If you are stuck, don't give up. Ask for help, please. Pastor Kisley is here, and I think I registered myself as one of the members of this team. And please just put the comment in the WhatsApp. I will check it and get back to you if you have questions later. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That sounds like a closing remark from you. Thank you so much, Doctor. I really enjoyed this session today because of how simple, down to earth it was, and how you encouraged a conversation and questions. Thank you, sir. Your heart is so beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't bring physics into this, but I didn't want this to be in the line of physics, but maybe some other time we can discuss something about, but this is a general topic for everybody that is looking for opportunity. I think it is important that we discuss this. And yeah, so please feel free to ask further questions if you want, please.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so you have given us access to you to be able to ask you questions when we have any. So they are here. They will reach out with such crucial, critical questions.
If you are here today and you are among the 12 members here and you have problem with payment of your application in the future, just contact me. That is a bonus for those people that are here today. I will be responsible for that.
Wow. Wow, thank you. Let's put our hands together for him. Just on mute, and let's put our hands together for him. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. All right. So we'll need to have time and munch on this presentation. Yeah. So we're going to end the session so that we can reflect on this presentation and hoping to receive the PowerPoint presentation soonest. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody.